Welcome back, everyone. Hi. I hope you're somewhere comfortable right now, maybe with a warm drink. Today feels like one of those days where I just want to talk slowly and honestly.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, same here. It's one of those quiet topics that sits in your chest, the kind you think about late at night. Today, we're talking about something many of us feel every day, even if we don't say it out loud.
The pressure to be successful. Just saying it makes my shoulders feel heavy. I think we all carry this idea of success, even if we don't fully understand where it comes from.
True. Sometimes it feels like success is this invisible clock. It's always ticking, and you feel like you're late, even when you're trying your best.
Exactly. And what's strange is that this pressure follows us everywhere, at work, at home, even when we're scrolling on our phones at night. What about you? When did you first feel this pressure?
Probably earlier than I realized. And you?
Same. I think many of us grew up hearing words like do better or be more, and those words stay with us. They grow inside us.
That's why we wanted to talk about this today. Not to give advice, not to teach anything, just to share real feelings, real stories, and maybe help someone feel less alone.
If this topic touches you, if you feel this pressure too, you're in the right place. And before we continue, if you enjoy these calm, honest talks, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us grow and keep these conversations going.
Thank you for being here with us. Let's take a deep breath together and start. After we decided on this topic, I noticed how often the word successful appears in daily life. People ask, "Are you successful?" or "What do you do?" And somehow those questions feel like tests. I remember being at a family dinner last year. Everyone was talking about jobs, money, and promotions. I smiled, nodded, and answered politely, but inside I felt small. I felt like I was falling behind, even though my life was not bad at all.
I know that feeling so well. For me, it often comes during quiet moments, like when I'm alone at night and my phone is in my hand. I see people posting about new jobs, new houses, big smiles, and even if I'm happy for them, a small voice inside me says, "You should be there too." It's not loud, but it's constant.
Yeah, that voice is sneaky. It doesn't shout, it whispers. It says things like, "You're not doing enough," or "Others are moving faster than you." And the worst part is, it feels normal, like this pressure is just part of being an adult.
And we rarely question it. We don't often stop and ask, who decided what success looks like? I remember when I was younger, I thought success meant a good job and a busy schedule. If you were always tired, it meant you were important. Now, that idea makes me tired just thinking about it.
Same here. I used to think being busy was a sign of value. If my calendar was full, I felt proud. But there was a time when I was busy all the time and still felt empty. I had deadlines, meetings, plans, but I didn't feel calm or proud. I just felt like I was running.
Running without knowing where you're going? That's such a common feeling. I had a moment a few years ago when a friend asked me, "Are you happy?" It was a simple question, but I couldn't answer right away. I was doing well on paper, but inside I felt lost.
That question can be scary because happiness doesn't always match success, and we're not really taught how to talk about that. We're taught how to work harder, how to improve, how to reach goals, but we're not taught how to rest or how to feel enough.
Feeling enough. That's such an important phrase. I think many people listening right now might feel like they are never enough. No matter how much they do, there's always another step, another goal, another comparison.
And comparison is everywhere. At work, on social media, even in our own families. Sometimes it's not said directly. Sometimes it's just a look or a small comment like, "Oh, they're doing really well now."
Those comments stay with us longer than people realize. I still remember things people said to me years ago, not because they were mean, but because they made me feel like I was on the wrong path.
Yeah, and once that feeling starts, it's hard to turn it off. You start measuring your life in numbers, salary, age, titles, achievements, and slowly you forget to ask yourself how you actually feel.
I think that's where the real struggle begins, when success stops being something you choose and starts being something you chase, even if it hurts you.
That's true. And the strange thing is, many people don't even know what they're chasing anymore. They just know they can't stop.
Maybe that's why talking about this matters so much, because when we say these things out loud, they become lighter. They feel less heavy, less lonely.
I agree. Just saying "I feel pressured" can already change something inside. It reminds you that you're human, not a machine.
And that it's okay to slow down sometimes, even if the world tells you to hurry.
Yeah, especially then.
You know, when you said slow down, something inside me reacted. Because slowing down sounds nice, but it also feels scary. I remember a time when I actually tried to slow down. I said no to a project at work. Just one. And right after I said no, my heart started beating fast. I thought, what if they think I'm lazy? What if I miss my chance? It was just one small decision, but it felt huge.
I really understand that fear. I think many of us believe that if we stop for even a moment, everything will fall apart. Like success is this train, and if you don't jump on it, it will leave forever. I felt that way when I took a break between jobs. People kept asking me, "So, what's next?" And I didn't have an answer. That made me feel uncomfortable, like I was doing something wrong.
Yeah, silence makes people nervous, especially when it's about plans and goals. I notice that when I say, "I'm not sure yet," people often try to fix it for me. They suggest ideas, jobs, paths. I know they mean well, but sometimes I just want space to breathe and think.
Exactly. It's like uncertainty is not allowed. We're expected to always know what we want and where we're going, but real life doesn't work like that. Sometimes you feel tired, sometimes you feel confused, and that doesn't mean you're failing.
But it's hard to believe that when everyone around you seems so sure. I remember scrolling through social media one evening. Everyone looked confident. New titles, new offices, big smiles. I put my phone down and felt this deep sadness. Not because I wanted their lives, but because I felt like I was behind in some invisible race.
That invisible race is exhausting, and the finish line keeps moving. When I got my first good job, I thought, okay, now I can relax. But then the pressure changed. It became about the next step, the next level. There was always something more.
Yes, it's like success never says you can rest now. It just says what's next. And if you're already tired, that voice can feel cruel.
I think that's when inner conflict starts. Part of you wants peace. Another part of you wants approval. And those two parts don't always agree. I remember waking up early every day, feeling heavy before work. On the outside, everything looked fine. But inside, I was asking myself, is this really my life?
That question can change everything. I asked myself something similar after a small moment. Nothing dramatic. I was sitting on a bus, going to work, watching people outside the window. And I suddenly thought, I don't feel present in my own life. That scared me more than failure.
Wow, that's powerful. Feeling absent from your own life? I think many people feel that, but don't have words for it. They keep going because stopping feels dangerous.
And because success is often tied to our value, if you're not successful, you start to think you're not enough, not smart enough, not strong enough. That belief can slowly eat away at your confidence.
Yes, and once you believe that, you work even harder to prove yourself. But no matter how much you do, it never feels like enough. I remember getting praise at work and feeling nothing, just relief. Like, okay, I'm safe for now.
Relief instead of joy. That says a lot. I felt the same when I reached a goal I had chased for years. I thought I would feel proud. Instead, I felt empty and tired, and then guilty because I thought I should be happy.
That guilt is heavy. Feeling ungrateful just because you're honest about your emotions. I think we forget that success doesn't automatically bring happiness. Sometimes it just brings more pressure.
And loneliness, because when you're always trying to look strong and capable, you stop sharing your doubts. You don't want to look weak, so you carry everything alone.
I did that for a long time. I smiled, said I'm fine, and kept my worries to myself. But inside, I felt like I was slowly disappearing. I wasn't listening to my needs anymore.
What changed for you?
A conversation, actually. A quiet one. I was talking to an old friend I hadn't seen in years. We were walking, no phones, just talking. She asked me how I really was, not the polite version. And I started crying. I didn't plan to, it just happened. And afterward, I felt lighter, like I had been holding my breath for years.
That sounds healing. Sometimes all we need is permission to be honest with someone else and with ourselves.
Yes! And she said something I'll never forget. She said, "You don't have to earn rest." That sentence stayed with me because I always felt like rest was a reward, not a right.
That's such an important idea. We wait to feel successful before we allow ourselves to rest, to enjoy, to live. But what if life is happening right now, not after the next goal?
That question slowly changed how I see success. Not in a big, sudden way, but in small choices, like choosing to leave work on time or spending an afternoon doing nothing without feeling guilty.
I'm still learning that. I still feel the pressure. But now, when I feel it, I try to notice it instead of fighting it. I ask myself, whose voice is this? Sometimes it's not even mine.
That's such a gentle approach. Not judging yourself, just listening. I think that's where growth begins. Not in pushing harder, but in understanding yourself better.
And accepting that struggle doesn't mean failure. It means you're human, living in a world that asks a lot from you.
Exactly. And maybe success doesn't have to be loud or visible. Maybe it can be quiet, like feeling calm when you wake up, or feeling proud of how you treat people, or even just feeling okay with where you are.
That idea gives me some peace. It reminds me that I'm allowed to define success in my own way, even if it looks different from others.
And you don't have to figure it all out today or tomorrow. Life is not a test you pass or fail.
It's more like a conversation, one that changes over time. That idea of life being a conversation really stayed with me after you said it, because conversations have pauses. They have moments where no one speaks, and that silence is not wrong, it's part of the flow. I think I spent many years afraid of those pauses in my life. Anytime nothing big was happening, I felt nervous, like I should be doing more.
I feel that too. Silence used to feel uncomfortable for me. If I wasn't busy, my mind would start asking questions. Are you wasting time? Shouldn't you be improving yourself? Even rest felt like a problem to solve.
Yes,
And that constant self-checking is exhausting. I noticed that even on weekends, I couldn't fully relax. I would sit on the couch, but my mind was still at work, thinking about emails, plans, goals. My body was resting, but my mind wasn't.
That's such a common experience. I think many adults don't know how to truly rest anymore. We're always connected, always available. And when we stop, we feel guilty, like we're breaking some rule.
I remember one Sunday afternoon. I had no plans, no tasks, just free time. And instead of enjoying it, I felt anxious. I opened my laptop not because I needed to, but because it made me feel useful. That scared me a little.
Because it made you realize how deeply that pressure lives inside you.
Exactly. It wasn't my boss or my family in that moment. It was me. I had learned to push myself, even when no one asked me to. And I started to wonder, if success is supposed to make life better, why do I feel worse?
That question is so important. For me, the pressure to be successful also affected how I saw other people. I caught myself comparing my life to friends, even close ones. I hated that feeling because I love them, but comparison just happened automatically.
Same here. I would hear about someone's promotion and feel two things at the same time. Happiness for them and sadness for myself, and then guilt for feeling sad. It's a confusing mix of emotions.
And we don't talk about that mix enough. We think we should feel only positive emotions, but real feelings are messy. You can be happy for someone and still feel unsure about your own path.
That's true. When I finally admitted that to myself, something shifted. I stopped judging my emotions so harshly. I realized feelings are not instructions. They're just messages.
I love that idea. Feelings as messages, not orders. For a long time, I let my fear control my decisions. Fear of being behind, fear of disappointing others, fear of choosing the wrong path.
Fear can be very loud, especially when it speaks in the voice of success. It says, do this now or you'll regret it. And when you're tired or unsure, that voice can feel very convincing.
Yes, I remember staying in a job that made me unhappy just because it looked good from the outside. People respected it, my family was proud, and I didn't want to lose that approval.
That's such an honest thing to say. Approval can feel like safety. When others see you as successful, you feel protected in some way.
Exactly. But the cost was high. I slowly lost touch with myself. I stopped asking what I wanted. I only asked what made sense, what looked right.
How did you start listening to yourself again?
Slowly, very slowly. It started with small questions, not big life decisions, just simple ones. Am I tired? Do I need a break? What would make today a little easier? Answering those questions felt strange at first, almost selfish.
But it wasn't selfish. It was caring.
I know that now, but back then it felt wrong, like I was choosing comfort over success, and that idea scared me.
I struggled with that too. I thought choosing comfort meant giving up, but now I see it differently. Comfort can be a foundation. When you feel safe and rested, you make better choices.
Yes, and success without well-being is very fragile. One small problem and everything falls apart. I saw that happen to people around me. They looked strong, but inside they were breaking.
I've seen that too. Burnout hides behind success. People smile, work hard, achieve a lot, and then one day they can't get out of bed and they feel ashamed because they think, I shouldn't feel this way.
That shame is so unnecessary, yet so common. We're not taught how to listen to our limits. We're taught how to push through them.
And limits are not weaknesses. They're signals, like pain in the body. You wouldn't ignore a broken leg, but we often ignore emotional pain.
Because emotional pain is invisible, and success culture doesn't make space for it. It rewards results, not honesty.
But honesty is where real change starts. I noticed that when I started being honest about my struggles, people responded with kindness. Not everyone, of course, but enough to remind me that I wasn't alone.
That's been my experience too. Vulnerability feels risky, but it also creates connection. When you say, "I'm struggling," you give others permission to say it too.
And suddenly, success doesn't feel like a competition anymore. It feels more personal, more human.
I think that's the shift many of us are slowly making, from "what should I be" to "who am I becoming?" That question feels softer, less demanding.
And it allows room for change, because the person you are becoming today might be different tomorrow, and that's okay.
It really is. Life is not a straight line, and success doesn't have to be either.
Hearing that gives me a sense of relief, like I don't have to rush to prove something. I can just keep moving one honest step at a time.
That's enough. More than enough.
When you said one honest step at a time, I felt something settle inside me. Because honesty sounds simple, but it's actually very brave, especially in a world that tells you to always look confident and sure. I think the hardest kind of honesty is being honest with yourself when no one is watching.
I agree. It's easy to say the right things to others. It's much harder to sit alone and admit, "I'm tired," or "I'm scared," or "this life I'm building doesn't feel like mine." Those moments can be very quiet, but they're powerful.
I had one of those moments recently. Nothing dramatic happened. I was just walking home after work, feeling heavy, and I realized that I was living more for future versions of myself than for the person I am now. I kept thinking, when I get there, I'll be happy. But there kept moving.
That's such an honest realization. I lived like that for a long time too, always waiting for the next achievement to give me permission to relax, to enjoy life, to feel proud. And somehow the present moment was never enough.
It's sad when you think about it. We miss so many small, beautiful moments because we're focused on proving something. I missed quiet mornings, slow meals, simple joy. I didn't notice them because they didn't feel productive.
Productivity has become a kind of religion, hasn't it? If something doesn't lead to success, we feel like it has no value. But some of the most meaningful moments in life don't lead anywhere. They just exist.
Yes, like sitting with a friend and talking without an agenda, or taking a walk and letting your thoughts wander. Those moments don't show up on a resume, but they shape who you are.
They really do. And when I started allowing myself to have more of those moments, something changed inside me. I became kinder to myself and to others. The pressure softened.
Kindness to yourself is something we don't talk about enough. We're often much harder on ourselves than we would ever be on a friend. If a friend said, "I feel lost," we wouldn't tell them to work harder. We would listen.
That's such a good point. I try to remember that now. When I catch myself thinking, "you should be further," I ask, would I say this to someone I love? The answer is almost always no.
And that question creates space. Space to breathe, to rethink, to choose a gentler path. I'm not saying the pressure disappears. It still shows up, but it doesn't control me the same way anymore.
Exactly. The pressure might always be there in some form, but we can change our relationship with it. We can stop letting it define our worth.
That was a big lesson for me. Realizing that my value doesn't come from my job, my income, or my achievements. Those things can change, but my worth as a person doesn't.
That realization brought me so much peace. It didn't solve all my problems, but it gave me a stable ground to stand on. From there, decisions felt clearer.
I think many people are tired right now. Tired of chasing, tired of comparing, tired of feeling like they're always late to their own lives.
And if you're one of those people listening right now, I hope you know that you're not broken. You're responding to a world that asks a lot from you.
And it's okay to question that world. It's okay to ask, what does success mean to me? Not to society, not to social media, to you.
That question can be uncomfortable at first because the answer might be different from what you expected. It might be simpler, quieter, more personal.
For me, success is slowly becoming about balance, about waking up without dread, about having energy for the people I care about feeling present in my own life.
That sounds beautiful. For me, success means feeling aligned, when my actions match my values, when I'm not constantly fighting myself.
Those definitions won't impress everyone, but they don't have to. They only need to make sense to us.
Exactly. And choosing your own definition of success is an act of courage. It means stepping off that invisible racetrack.
And trusting that your pace is enough.
I hope people listening can feel that trust growing, even just a little. You don't have to have everything figured out. You don't have to be exceptional every day.
Sometimes just being honest, kind, and present is already a success.
And you're allowed to rest. You're allowed to change your mind. You're allowed to grow slowly.
Life is not asking you to prove your worth. It's inviting you to live.
That's such a gentle way to put it. I think that's a good place to leave people with this thought today.
Yes. If there's one thing to remember, it's this. You are not behind. You are where you are, and that's okay.
Thank you for being here with us, for listening, and for taking this quiet moment for yourself.
We'll see you next time. Take care of yourself.